Right. There we go.
First item, apologies for absence.
Yes, I have several apologies for absence.
Should be at least 10 there, should there not?
Councillor Sinnott, who's unwell. Councillor Thornton has a city council meeting. Councillor Blackburn is at another meeting. Councillor Cunningham is at another meeting. And I have apologies from the councillors Liversedge, that's Councillors Allen and Dorian Liversedge, who are having technological problems this evening. Unfortunately, they're unable to get sound at all. Does council wish to approve those apologies?
Aye. Madam Mayor, I propose to approve.
Councillor Elvin, sorry.
Madam Mayor, I propose to approved.
Okay, seconder.
Thank you. Sorry. Any other apologies from members will be recorded as unapproved absence. Sorry, not apologies. Any absences will be recorded as unapproved.
Record declarations of interest. Any of those?
Hello, I'm here. I can't see you.
Sorry, who was that?
It's Councillor Deputy.
Okay, Councillor Deputy, thank you. Any declarations of interest?
No, no.
Can members just visually show a hand, please? To see, no. No. Councillor Farrell, no declarations of interest?
No.
No. Councillor Elvin?
No.
Councillor Deputy?
No.
Councillor Dodds?
No.
Councillor Coulson?
No.
Yeah, I think I've got everyone now. The other members showed their hand there. Right, that's none. Thank you very much.
Items public participation.
Yeah, what time period do you want to allocate this evening? Say physical meetings are normally up to 30 minutes, and I think we've allocated a similar time scale for the most recent Zoom meetings as well.
Yeah, 30 minutes.
Fine, yeah.
30 minutes, yes.
Yeah. Okay, any members of the public wish to speak?
Lindsay.
Lindsay? Jim?
Yes, please. Yeah. I would like to just start off by mentioning the Sunderland Core Strategy and Development Plan, which Sunderland Council have paid £656,000 for.
Oh.
Can you hear me or not?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah. I just wanted to start off with Sunderland Core Strategy and Development. Sunderland Council have adopted this development plan only in January this year, paying £656,000 for it. Yeah, now I relate to the Cragdale Garden site, and Sunderland Council are ignoring the core strategy. They're not adhering to the plan. Does anybody know why they would pay so much money and not adhere to it? Surely this is just a waste in taxpayers' money.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree. I agree. I have asked questions about the cost and how closely aligned to the Sunderland Core strategy we are supposed to be. And I haven't had any. To be fair, I've sent 2 emails off to Sunderland Council, and I haven't had any response back that I could relay back to council to say that, you know, we're adhering to the Sunderland Core strategy. I mean, I've had a couple of conversations with various people off the record, as it were, but nothing really, nothing. So to me, £656,000. If you're going to pay that kind of money, you should be sticking to it.
I agree.
Councillor Farrow.
Can you explain in what way they're not sticking to it? I did contact the planning people about this, and I sent a message to the Planning and Development Committee meeting, which I was unable to attend, because in the plan it says that this land, the latest plan says this land is developable. The earlier ones, that was not the case, but it had been changed. Now, is that what you're referring to, please?
It stated that it was something like 11 to 15 years' time that it would be developable.
Yeah. Well, I did get a
Not now. They said they would use brownfield sites before they would use a green.
I did get a response which I passed to the subcommittee, which explained this and was, to my mind, quite a satisfactory explanation. I didn't know this was going to come up again this evening because I did already take it to the subcommittee, so I haven't got the email in front of me that I got, but it was quite a satisfactory explanation. And as I say, I did send it on to the committee that I was unable to attend.
Alan?
Madam Mayor, do you not have a city councillor here who sits on the planning committee present? Could she not shed some light on it for us?
Councillor, I'm not on the planning committee now.
I beg your pardon?
I'm not on the planning committee now. It was changed in the new arrangements were made, and I'm not a member of the planning committee.
Oh, could I just ask the councillor, is this when, which we haven't been informed of it, that the planning committees are completely changed and you now have an east and west or something and we don't?
Yes.
Could you throw any light on why the Hetton Town Council weren't advised of these changes?
No idea, because I'm on here as a Hetton Town councillor.
Well, may I?
Councillor Defty?
Yeah, you know the planning committee now, you're not here as a Hetton Town councillor. So what input do you have for Hetton Town Council, if any?
Well, as soon as any members from Hetton Town Council contact me, I then contact the necessary officers and then I get back to the Hetton Town councillors.
But in past, you must have known this strategy is being changed and we haven't been informed.
Well, it was just changed in the new council year. That was all. It was done in March.
6 months ago.
So you've never been on the planning since March?
No, well, I haven't. It was decided in March, and then the new things came out in May, and I'm not on the planning now.
So why have you been leaving the meeting when anything about planning comes up?
Well, I haven't. I didn't leave the last time planning came up. I've only done it about while I was on the planning committee.
I think the point about the core strategy, I think there was a couple of points. First of all, the greenfield site or green space. I can't remember exactly what they're calling it now. And the priority was that the Sunderland core strategy would focus on brownfield sites first. It's not a brownfield site, so that's one. And the other part of the application was that they said that the land was only suitable for up to, I think it was 36 houses or 40 houses, and they've actually gone over. So they've gone up to 86 houses. They also continue to do many other things. They've just started a 10-day program of drilling. They haven't even submitted the plans yet. So, yeah. So,
next. Sorry.
No, it's fine.
Councillor Rome?
Yes, can you hear me, Madam Chairman?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. The planning committee have already met on Cragdale Gardens, and I can appreciate what Lindsay is saying about this, but we've already made a decision to not approve this although we haven't actually finalised all the paperwork, we've got the outline there, and I'm sure we can, incorporate everything that we feel is the reasons why we are objecting to this planning committee. That's subject to the approval of the town council further down the agenda.
Councillor Elvin, do you wish to speak before? Councillor Elvin? Sorry.
Yes, I mean, could I not suggest that the clerk writes to Sunderland City Council asking for an explanation of Lindsay's query? To me, it seems a very valid query. I appreciate what Councillor Farrow has said, but there appears to be a deviation from the core strategy. So it would be nice.
Sorry.
So it'd be nice to have an explanation direct to the council as to why that has happened.
Councillor Rome, then Councillor Waterston.
Yeah, as part of the objection to this, we can incorporate this within the letter which the town clerk and I will be working on this week. And I agree it's something to be discussed, but bearing in mind the other documents that came up at the meeting, which were all discussed at the meeting and all councillors are welcome to attend, we feel we've got a fairly strong case. I would have thought anyhow.
Councillor Waterston and then Councillor Farrow. Councillor Waterston.
Can you hear me now? Yeah.
Yes.
When did the land go from being developable to being up for development? When? Anybody?
Yes. Can I read in the report for 2017, it's listed as undevelopable, but in the latest report, 2019, it's listed as developable.
We've got Diggory on the line.
Sorry, can I come back on that? Developable and giving and being down to be developed are two different things. And it does say from 11 to 15 years' time. I hope the questions that we're going to ask is, when did it go from just being developable land to being able to be developed upon? And when the 11 to 15 years were mentioned, where's that gone? It just seems as if, and I concur with the member of the public, Lindsay Gibson. Sorry. When they're putting these down in a core strategy, you know, it's fluff, it's cotton wool. If they're going to change it on a whim, what's the point of it all? So I think we need to have these questions asked. After all,
again, and then can we go back to the members of the public if they've got anything, questions?
Would it be helpful if I forwarded to the town clerk the email I had in response to my query about this, which went to the planning department, and I did receive a very detailed and helpful explanation of all of this, some of which I did send, as I've already said, to the planning committee. Now, if I forward the whole email, which I don't think I did before, to the town clerk, would that be helpful? And then it might answer quite a few of the questions that have being posed this evening.
Well, Councillor Farrow, if you know the answer to why it's gone from developable, could you enlighten us just lightly?
I'm already said that I did send a report in to the planning committee. I don't have it in front of me now. I'm using the laptop that it's written on for this meeting, so I can't get it. I didn't think I would need it again this evening, but as I've said, I can send on the email I got from the planning department. I can send to the town clerk and he can then forward it to people if he wishes. Would that be helpful? And it would, I think, answer some of these questions. But as has already been said this evening, the planning committee is going to send in its objections. This email may well help in formulating the response the council's going to make, and I will do that. And as has also already been said, there is time for all this to be done.
Right. Sorry, can we have a couple more then? A couple more of them and go back to the members of the public because I realise this is carrying on a while. Yeah, Councillor Elvin first.
Yes, I think it's very useful if Councillor Farrar sends in that documentation, and maybe with her permission, the town clerk can forward it to Lindsay. But I also think it's incumbent on us as a council to write to get the clerk to write to the council, asking the question that Lindsay has posed, because we don't have, she's asked a direct question, and I think the answer. As a member of the public, her question should be answered by the town council. So I think the two-pronged approach would be good.
Rome, and then we can carry on.
Yes, I agree with that, but I do believe this information should be incorporated into our objection as well. But what I will say about the reformation of the planning committees at Sunderland City Council, I only just found out about this on Saturday. Can you hear me okay?
You've got an echo on you. You've got an echo.
Well, I put these on hoping I wasn't going to get that. Getting closer. I feel we've lost a bite of the cherry because of the way the planning committee has been changed, because once upon a time, well, prior to the new council year, we had the Houghton, Hetton and Washington planning subcommittee meeting where we could object to various things we object to, and we could end there, and then meeting, and there was an opportunity to object there. So we had 2 years in which to object, and now with these changes we've got nothing. We've only got the one.
Councillor Geddes.
Yeah, just to refresh people's minds, there was 99.9 of the council voted to oppose this, and there was 1 abstention. But I think more importantly,
You've got an echo on you as well, man, Councillor Geddes.
I would like to ask the council exactly when all of these decisions were made, and why Hetton Town Council's again just being left out. Am I correct in saying our Councillor Thornton is now on the plan committee?
I don't know, sorry.
Is it Councillor Thornton on the plan committee? Can you hear me?
Councillor Thornton's chair of the planning committee now.
Well, it would be helpful if Councillor Thornton turned up at one of our meetings, because she hasn't been for a while. But I think, there's got to be questions asked as to who made this decision, when it was made, and why Hetton Town Council is being kept out of the loop. Simple as that. Can I just bring something up as well while I'm on this situation? Now, this will come further down the line, but I just want to direct this to our Labour City Councillor, Councillor Turner. Myself and Councillor Waterson went to the CDOT meeting, and we brought up the very thing that you just mentioned tonight, Councillor Turner, and what Councillor Blackburn's mentioned, and other people. Every single councillor disagrees with what you've just said tonight about not being able to talk. That was every single councillor at that meeting, Labour included. They said that city councillors have got a duty of care and a responsibility. That's what was said. Now, Councillor Waterson, can you back that up?
Yes, it was said.
Wholeheartedly. So again,
go back to members of the public's questions, please, Councillor Geddes.
I'm not finished with this. I'm not finished with this.
Well, I know, but it is members of the public's question.
Why do our city councillors still insist on not representing the people when all of the Durham County councillors do this? I'm sorry, but it is not good enough. And the minute from the CDOT meeting.
Any of the members of the public wish to speak?
Can I just come in there if that's possible? Just picking up on what Mr. Geddes has just said there. There was one person abstained from voting on the previous meeting, and that was Councillor Heron.
Yeah.
Councillor Heron stated there was a need for social housing. I have contacted Councillor Heron. I asked for facts and figures, because surely if he said that at a meeting, a council meeting, he should have facts and figures. To date, he has still not provided me with facts and figures to prove there is a need for social housing in this area. Any comments?
Thank you, Lindsay.
Tonight.
Thank you. And can I just say that affordable housing, social housing is not genteel housing. There's a big difference.
Councillor Elvin?
Yes, if Councillor Heron been here today and raised it, I would have suggested there might be a pecuniary interest, as he was a former director of Gen 2 housing, and that may have some bearing on his opinion on Gen 2 policy.
And Gen 2, the CEO is also calling the people of Hetton. I've had an email by mistake where he has forwarded it came back to myself, and the email states, it's from Hetton again, ... be aware. And that's a company that are wanting to build on these fields around where I live. These people around here line the pockets of that. This is a CEO, and I have that email in black and white, and I think it's an absolute disgrace that he's allowed to slag off the public.
Sorry, Lindsay, was that Nigel Wilson you referred to?
That is Nigel Wilson, yes. I have got it in black and white from Nigel Wilson.
I would love to have that, okay?
So would I.
I will forward it.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Okay, yes. Town Clerk?
You're mute.
You're on mute now.
Yes, I'm wise to it. Councillor Dodds wishes to speak, please.
Right, Councillor Dodds.
I'm aware Councillor Heron isn't here tonight, but I've just been forwarded an email along with Councillor Heron, which is regarding social housing and the need for it around this area. And there is over 250 people sitting waiting for social housing at present. And a high percentage of that is for bungalows.
Which
and I can forward this information on, providing I get the required. I'm just waiting for an email back to say that this information can be passed on.
If it's
but I will as soon as I've got this information, as soon as I've got the verification that this can be passed on, I will pass it on to the town clerk.
Any other members of the public wish to speak? Doesn't look like it. Town Clerk?
Yes, Chairman, just if we're finished with that particular part of the agenda, there's a couple of things I'd just like to flag up. First of all, I'd just like to advise members that Councillors Allen and Doreen Liversedge have joined us now. They're not on video, but they can hopefully hear us, and they've been present since the start of item 3, public participation. The other thing I'd like to ask members to do, if you're not speaking, can you please put your screen on mute? It may help, it just may help with the interference that we're getting. That's great. Thank you. And the other thing is just to mention, which eluded me at the start of the meeting, I was just asked to mention the Voluntary and Community Action Awards in Sunderland. And Sean Newton-Velcap has been awarded the Open Arms winner for work to improve the community. Just to make a note of that, if members wish to. Did you all get that? Yeah.
Well done to Sean Newton. Congratulations.
Yes, exactly.
Very
He's
well.
done a lot
Yes.
during this.
He does a lot.
Yeah.
Well done.
Point of order, Madam Mayor. Could the town clerk tell me exactly where these two councillors are? That I appear not to see any name or any. Is there a particular phone number?
No, they're down as. They're on, certainly on my screen. They're not on video, I'm afraid. They're just on audio.
So what is it? What's their title on the
down
screen?
here as Larry Allen Doreen.
Okay, thank you very much, Town Clerk. Thank you.
Okay.
Proceed now
Yeah.
to item 4.
Yeah, these are minutes. We have quite a few to go through. I'm going to screen share these. The first is the minutes of the Town Council meeting held on the 20th of July. So we'll see if we can get these on screen.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Hello, Town Clerk. I'm aware that we've been talking about their public participation for half an hour, but most of that's been made up by the councillors. Was Lindsay finished?
Sorry.
Well, not really.
I was asking the question, was Lindsay finished speaking? And I know we've gone over the half hour, but she hasn't even, I don't know whether did you have any more questions?
Yeah, I did, but am I able to come back? I mean, Councillor Dodds says she has facts and figures, and she's speaking about bungalows. There isn't actually one bungalow going to be supposedly built out here anyway, so that kind of made a mockery of the comment. I've got also a question regarding the £292,000 that's supposed to be going to be paid for the schools. I'm waiting on facts and figures. I'm tracing that up to try and find out who is responsible to pay those costs. Is it Gen 2, or does it then fall back to the council for them to pay the extra places for the school? I don't know whether anybody knows anything about that.
No, it's just that's 106 monies, isn't it? Education Authority said they wanted 292,000.
Yeah, there's an email from Alan Rowan, and he's put on an estimated cost of £292,000 for the extra children for the place. And I've contacted Alan Rowan, who's then forwarded to somebody else to find out who is responsible for paying those costs. And obviously I'm waiting. I've chased it up again today, but I haven't got an answer as yet.
Can I come back?
Over to the chair.
Chair, Councillor Payson, you've gone on mute. You've gone on mute, Councillor Payson. Can I come back? Or? You're on mute.
Yeah, I'm saying, yeah, you can do, providing that you're quick, you know. I mean, I'm just looking at the time, sorry.
It's so I appreciate the council might have that document, but I also sent an email off. It was a round robin. I also have freedom of information about the need for social housing, and that was one I haven't heard anything back. And what Lindsay's talking about the £292,000. Also, I haven't heard anything back, and I have sent emails as well. And it seems as if Sunderland City Council only answer when they want to, and they only give information to who they want to. Again, and I'm getting fed up with it. There must be an ombudsman that we can go to, because Sunderland City Council aren't acting in our interests. They are actively trying to remove covenants that's on the land down at Cragdale Gardens. Actively trying to remove them, when somebody like Lindsay says, oh, could you give me some information, because we believe these covenants should be left on the land. And so Lindsay's getting passed from pillar to post when she's trying to talk to the legal people, and they're in the process of trying to remove these covenants, and that wasn't in the spirit that the land was gifted. But we haven't got the money to fight legally, and we were also told by the legal department of Sunderland Council, get this, Sunderland City Council said, you need to seek independent legal advice. Why would I? I'm paying my council tax to Sunderland City Council. Why do I need independent legal advice? They're supposed to be looking after our interests.
Councillor.
Sorry, Lindsay.
Madam Chairman.
Can we continue, or item 4? The minutes?
Okay to move on?
Yeah.
Okay, the first set of minutes to consider is the minutes of the Town Council meeting on the 20th of July. Just again, all members will have had a copy of these. I'm just pulling them up on screen to give people a flavour of them. There's quite a lot of background documents this evening, and of course, when I've got stuff on screen, I can't see the majority of people. But there are 7 pages of draft minutes there.
Madam Mayor, could I propose?
True reading.
Madam Mayor? You're on mute, Kath. Madam Mayor, you're on mute.
I don't want to speak to anybody tonight. Yes, Councillor.
Madam Mayor, may I propose that these minutes are adopted as a true record of what took place on that evening?
Did by Councillor Gevitz? Yeah.
Approved. Is that unanimous?
Yeah.
Well, show of hands. Would Madam Mayor, can we suggest a show of hands?
Aye. Yes, from Miss Councillor Deputy.
Right. Councillor Willis, Councillor Dodds, yeah, I've got a senior blue hand there. Councillor Rome, yeah, unanimous, thank you. The next set of minutes are those of the extraordinary meeting held on the 27th of August. Again, I'll pull up all those on screen as well. So I will be darting backwards and forwards here. So these are the extraordinary meeting minutes, 3 pages. There's any views, please?
I think they could be adopted.
Get us adopted, seconded.
So that was Councillors Geddes and
Geddes and myself.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Right.
What's the view overall?
Yeah, approved.
Agree.
Agree.
Right, thank you. The next set is the Planning and Development Committee on the 3rd of September. I'll bring those on screen in just a second. There's a blank page there. Didn't know that was there. It's only 2 pages long. That is the complete minutes, 2 pages.
Again, I think them can be adopted unless anybody's got a problem.
True.
So that was Councillors Geddes and
Deputy, I think.
Councillor Deputy. Councillor Deputy.
Madam Mayor, could I just interject there?
Councillor Rome, yeah.
I would also like the council to approve to approve that the town clerk finds out, in view of the changes to the Houghton, Hetton and Washington planning committee, that a councillor from Hetton Town Council and members of the public will be allowed to make representations at the meeting at this east or west or whatever we are now, because we don't really know what's going on.
Chairman.
Here.
Can I just comment? Whilst I heard Councillor Rome's sentiment, the agenda item is to approve or otherwise the minutes. If Councillor Rome wishes to make that suggestion, can I suggest that that's picked up under the members' issues section? I understand it's related, but it's a very specific agenda item we're dealing with.
Thank you for pointing that out.
So, any other views on the Planning and Development Committee? Okay, we'll go to item D. This is the Events and Special Activities Committee. That was the 14th of September. Any views, please?
I propose that these be accepted.
I second that, Councillor Rowan.
Thanks. Is that a unanimous?
Unanimous.
Yes.
Yeah.
Councillor Dodds?
Yeah, that's fine.
Great, thank you.
Can I just bring up one thing on that, if you don't mind, Madam Mayor?
Relevant to agree in these minutes?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We're just getting kindly given in Jack and the Cross of St. George from the Coldstream Guards have been gifted Hetton Town Council, so just thought I would let you know.
Very good. Very good.
Could I ask Graham, the town clerk, just to write to one of my neighbours who is in the Coldstream Cards and just thank him. I'll give you the details of that. He is a Hetton lad, by the way, and he's still a servant soldier.
Chairman, just for the purposes of again sticking to the agenda, I acknowledge Councillor Geddes' point there. Can you just raise it under the members' issues? Because I really need to divorce it from the actual approval or otherwise of the minutes.
No bother.
Smashing, thanks.
Elvin, did you wish to? Yeah.
Yeah, just before we vote, could I just ask that the committee expedite item 5? It's been going on for quite a while, and I know things have been difficult, and I commend the work of this committee. But if we could expedite item 5 and bring it to the council ASAP, I think that would be very, very good. Thank you very much, Madam Mayor.
Right, that was the events prior to Councillor Geddes and Councillor Elvin's points. I think Councillor had already approved them. So can I move on to the next set, please?
Yeah.
Excuse me. This is management and policy, also from the 14th of September. There is one thing I'd like to point out, and that is on the final paragraph of page 1. It should read, representing the Hetton and Cocktail electoral wards rather than Hetton Hall. I ran away with myself. So subject to that amendment from Hetton Hall to Hetton ward, are there any comments? Just bring that up. Yeah. The last paragraph on page 1 there should just say Hetton.
Yeah, Councillor Elvin, sorry.
Yes, unless anybody's got any questions, I'd like to propose that these minutes be adopted.
I'll second those.
And sorry, I'm just picking something up. There was one aspect on the standing orders which Councillor Dodds raised about item D5 on page 7 of the standing orders, and I was asked to seek clarity on that, which I have done. And this was to make an amendment to clarify that the substitution of members was to, in the event that a quorum wasn't going to be reached. And I would just like to suggest that if Council are happy for me to do so, I'd make an appropriate amendment and change the number of days from 7 to 3 to ensure consistency.
That's fine.
Jolly good, thank you.
Yeah.
I nearly missed it, but we got there. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Madam Mayor, if they're approved, could I ask the town clerk, once they've he's got the final version, if he could not only post them on the website, but send a copy to all councillors by second-class post, so they've physically got a copy and notification of being served of the new standing orders. And that will be taken then as notice of service that everybody has had the new standing orders.
Yeah.
Chairman, just on a point, I am happy to do that if that's council's wishes. It is entirely acceptable to send them electronically as well. But of course, there are a number of, it's a fairly hefty document, I must confess.
Madam Mayor, well, we have on numerous occasions when we've had councillors saying, I haven't had a copy of the standing orders, or I can't find them, etc. I think they should be served and served once. And then it is up to incumbent on all councillors then, if they wish to look at the standing orders, they've had it, if they're available electronically and they've been sent a copy, a physical copy by post, that's the end of the matter. There's no reason why people can keep coming back and saying, I haven't had it, or I haven't seen it, and what is it, etc., etc. I would propose that, in addition, for the costs of a second-class stamp to all councillors, it would be a price worth paying. So I propose that that is sent by second-class post.
Chairman, Councillor Dodds wishes to speak.
Thanks, Graham. Can I just ask that I've got electronic copy as well, because I tend to keep electronic copies easier than paper copies.
Madam Mayor, that's what I said. Electronic copies posted on the website, but for the avoidance of doubt in the future, if everybody has a paper copy posted to them, there should be no reason for people to say they don't know what the standing orders are.
I'll second that.
Second that.
Councillor Deputy.
Yeah. Is everybody okay with that?
Aye.
Yep.
Yeah, looks
Joined us.
unanimous.
Is that right?
Councillor Dodds, you okay with that? Councillor Dodds?
Yeah, as long as I can have an electronic copy,
Yeah,
I'm fine.
yeah, not a problem. And Councillor Deputy?
Yep, I'm fine with that, yes.
Okay, and can I just bring to members' attention, Councillor Heron has joined us as well now.
Thank you. My apologies, Madam Mayor, for coming in late.
Okay, thank you.
Item 5, reports from members, ward matters to be investigated. There's a couple there, isn't there? Councillor Rome? I will see Councillor Coulson after this. Yeah, Councillor Rome.
A couple of things, Madam Mayor. I think if I come closer to the microphone, is that better? Is that better?
Yes.
Yes, speeding in Elmer Lane. I've had a lady who lives in Elmer.
And you froze, Councillor Rome.
Before you go down into Dale. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
He's starting to freeze, Councillor Rome. Can we go on to Councillor Coulson before I'm coming back to you?
Elmer Lane. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Councillor Coulson, now we're going to you, and we'll go back to Councillor Rome.
Right. Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd just like to ask the clerk to keep pushing Sunderland Council to get the 20 miles an hour speed limits through the narrow streets of East Street. And ask if there's any progress or any date where it's likely to happen. I think I've been asking this for about a couple of years now. Thank you.
Geddes, did you want to?
No,
Councillor Geddes, yeah? Sorry?
No, I'm fine.
Did you have to bring up a point that he said in ward
Oh,
matters?
sorry, yeah, it's just, could I ask the town clerk to, I'll give him the details, write to the guy in the court frame guards who's still serving, who's kindly passed on a couple of items for use. That would be lovely. I'll give you the details, Mr. Clerk.
Councillor Farrow, then Councillor Elvin, and Councillor Waterson.
I've had some exchange of messages with residents of Corrigan Terrace in East Drayton who are concerned that there may be plans for development of the land between Corrigan Terrace and Grange Farm. There have apparently been people, surveyors there, and residents have approached them and asked what they're doing, but not had a definitive reply. But the suggestion has been that a developer may wish to use that land. So they are just at the present time wondering what's happening, and it's just something that we need to keep an eye on. And be aware of. Nothing further than that at this stage.
Right, Councillor Elvin, then Councillor Waterston. Councillor Elvin? Yeah.
Yeah, just unmuting my mic. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Sorry about that. First, I just need to make a public apology to Councillor Anne Lawson. Last meeting, I referred to the totally outrageous Facebook comments made by Mr. C. Bell, which very sadly reflected or cast dispersions on the town council as a whole, the town clerk in particular, and caused severe consternation. I mistakenly said that Councillor Lawson supported Mr. Bell. On this one occasion, she doesn't support him. She's made it. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I got a strange third party came on my line, so maybe it's GCHQ listening in. Sorry about that. Yes, so I misinterpreted something from social media, and so Councillor Lawson has written to me to assure me that she doesn't support the outrageous remarks made by Mr. Bell, who I assume, well, who hasn't actually made an apology to the council, and it would be incumbent on him to take a leaf out of my book that if somebody makes a mistake, they have the backbone to stand up and say, look, on this occasion, I apologise, I did make a mistake. So my apologies to Councillor Lawson. She doesn't support Mr. Charlie Bell's assertion that we have misappropriated money from Hetton Town Council. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Councillor Waterston, did you want to come in?
Yes, please. Yeah, again, it's a traffic request for calming measures up at Valley View in Moorsley. And going by the number of statements about traffic, I go back to, I think it was the meeting before last, where I asked for a meeting, however we can do that, to discuss Hetton, East Drayton, the whole area, to discuss what the City Council are going to do about traffic calming measures, or how they're going to try and address the serious situation that we're in. And it's happening daily on a regular basis, traffic issues. So I would like to ask if we're going to move forward with a request to have some sort of a meeting about this, because it's upsetting. It's upsetting a number of people. The state of the roads at the moment, the centre of Hetton's appalling. So I'd like to see, some conversation about what we can do and what we can put in place for that. I've got to ask. I've got another request. I've already contacted Sunderland about the trees outside of St Nicholas House on the site of the old church. And I haven't had any reply back about them. The trees are quite dangerous. I think there might be a TPO on these trees, but they are quite dangerous at the moment. So I don't know if Town Clerk can follow that up again for me and ask them what's going on. I requested another dog litter bin down Brum Hill, and we've had nothing back. I've heard nothing back from that for months now. Apparently, with the new building at Brum Hill, there's a lot of dog fouling going on, and it's they're hoping that if the residents have hoped that if they get another bin down there, possibly the people may start and pick it up and get rid of it, dispose of it in the correct fashion. The other issue I've got, and I don't know if anybody here has noticed in the council, we've got I think it's a drain. I'm I think it's a drain, and it's in Bog Row. It's just past where Frank Willis's garage is. The drain's sunk so far that if you hit it, it's a real danger. And a few people have contacted me to say that they've had to have the tyres looked at in the cars because they've hit this drain at such a, you know, at a speed, and it's doing damage. So I think that's quite urgent that we get someone to have a look at that. If the town clerk would do that for me, please. And that's it. That's all of mine.
I said we go back to Councillor Rome. I believe Councillor Willis and Councillor Dodds wish to speak. So can I have Councillor Rome first, then Willis, and then Tracy? Councillor Dodds, please.
Yeah, I'll try speaking straight into the microphone. Is that any better?
Seems to be at the moment, yes.
Okay. Well, it's speeding in Elmer Lane. One of the residents there has had her car hit twice, and that's before you go down into the dip away into the Vale from Hetton, even though there is a speed awareness sign there. And again, I echo what Councillor Waterson and Councillor Colson have said. We really need to do something to stop the speeding. The second point is Unit 6, Hetton Lines Industrial Estate, which I and other residents fought tooth and nail to get rid of all the rubbish and everything there many years ago from Old Track. It's now looking very nice, with all these lovely pallets stacked up in there. But one of the residents has said, could this be a recipe for an arson attack?
Yeah,
I don't know if we can contact the fire brigade or whatever to see you know what's happening there. I did drive around there and have a look, and they are piling up nicely. And just with bonfire night coming and everything, I mean, Unit 6 has been set on fire before in the past, so I would just like to point that out. And lastly, it's about the Planning and Development Subcommittee, which has disappeared. Residents were allowed to speak at that, particularly on issues which were very topical with the community. And if we can find out if the town council representative and members of the public can speak to the committee where this decision is going to be made, I'll be very grateful. Thank you.
Willis?
Can you hear us?
Yeah, yes.
I've had a few complaints from residents in my streets, by a street going into by a square, about racing cars going really fast. Sometimes they just come down, go around the green and go back out. Motorbikes as well, and the turfing up the farmer's field. He's just been encouraged to just dug it over today. It's like a rabbit's warren down here with children. Somebody's kid's going to end up getting splattered. Basically, it's really bad, to the point where there's a few people virtually fighting, residents coming out and having a go at these people who're speeding down in the cars. So I don't know, speed bumps in the street. We need something before somebody gets killed. Also today I had somebody come to us. It's just off my turf bit, but it's the end of my mum's street. 2 caravans, not roadworthy, have now appeared at the end of our street.
I have reported those to the enforcement officer, council,
Number 1,
and they're on the way. Yes.
And there's somebody in Eppleton Row had a looks like some sort of big conifer tree delivered.
Chopped it up and put it beside the railings.
But he decided to set fire to it today.
Oh.
Up against his fence. Not a bright spark, but never mind. Obviously he's burnt his fence a bit, but that could have went along and just wiped everybody's backyard fence out. So there's a complaint about, you know, those couple of, it's like 2 houses there that's been a little bit naughty. But there's worry about, you know, why you're getting a tree then burn outside up against your fence in case it spreads and it goes into the houses. Because you're only talking, like, what, 6 foot off the house? So that's it.
And if the town clerk wants to come back before Councillor Dodds.
Yeah, Councillor Willis, I've made a note of that, but I don't know where your mum lives.
There's Market Street.
There's Market Street.
Right.
It's like, it's next to number 1.
Right.
Where the caravans are, yes.
Yeah, where the caravans are is number 1.
Right.
But they're not his.
Sorry, just as an aside, many years ago, I used to work for a public transport company on the telephone helplines, and people would say things like, you know, can you tell us what time the next bus is to me mums? But they wouldn't tell you where they live. I just don't get it. Sorry, move on.
Councillor Dodds, I believe you wish to speak.
Yes, thanks, Madam Mayor. It's just regarding the area of land at the bottom of Caroline Street next to McMurtry's Butchers. We've got some fly tipping on it yet again, and it's a continual ongoing thing, reporting fly tipping on that area. I was just wondering if we could get in touch with whoever owns it and see if we could cut the shrubs back a little bit and make it a bit more open and less of an invite for the fly tippers.
Do you mean beside Edward Street, or are you at the other side where St Bede's is?
It's between the sheltered accommodation and McMurtry's. There's a few trees. It's a bit of grassland, a few trees and a few shrubs. But there's a bit of
McMurtry's and Two Castles, Councillor Dodds.
Yeah,
yes.
sounds like it.
Ah, right, I'm with you now.
Yeah, it's just a little walkway through.
Yeah.
Yes, I've been through there myself, yeah.
It's just, there's some mattresses and some other waste being fly tipped there today. And it's an ongoing issue. I'm forever reporting it to Sunderland Council. And I was just wondering if we could get the shrubs cut back and the area opened up a bit, it might reduce the fly tipping in that area.
I believe that land does belong to Two Castles, so.
I think it's Castle and Coast now, isn't it?
Is it? I don't know. I just noticed Two Castles. So. Right. Okay. I believe Councillor Hopper wanted to come on, and then Councillor Waterston again, and then got the lot of you, and Councillor Coulson after that.
Hello. So, Sunderland Core Strategy, specifically the no more development to be considered in Hetton Hall until the infrastructure has been invested in. So what we're saying here, every council is reporting about fly tipping. So we need cameras. Yes, we're doing something like that. The roads, the motorbikes, the barriers, badly being let down by Sunderland City Council. It has been my displeasure over the past 12 months to even be associated with a council that is so poor. The Sunderland City Council, I tell you, stop short. Sorry. So traffic, yeah, I've already spoke to Councillor Turner about the pathways and the drains, schoolhouse barriers, and they're being seen to. The barriers at Peak Car Park, they need sorting desperately, like now. Not next week, not next month, they need sorting now. The motorbikes flying all over the place. But the people on the motorbikes, even though we want to push them off, they are residents as well. They need somewhere to go. Can the council, not the town council, because we don't own any land apparently, can the city council, can we not write to the city council and say, can we have a set aside piece of land? Something, some sort of strategy. There must be a brain cell over at Sunderland City Council. Got to be. I haven't found one yet. I've only been on 12 months. So we need we need some sort of teamwork, and I'm probably not the person to try and get them to do whatever. But if we don't get these barriers and we don't get the traffic sorted, we're going to have a fatality, and it's not going to be on my hands because I've reported it every month. So have other councillors, but Sunderland City Council aren't doing it. So anyway, that's it. There's 3 people have mentioned the houses that's going up at Eastern Lane. I've got the planning number here. I spoke to the town clerk about it this morning. We need to keep an eye on that. 106 money's due of £48,000 as soon as they get 50 people into the houses. Just been reading the documentation today. but also the level of the rents. Now, when I spoke to the town clerk today, well, you know, if it's private, people have bought it privately, then there's nothing we can do about the level of the rent. But if there's anything in the documentation that anybody's come across about it being affordable homes or social housing, then we need to be writing into the developers, I think. So, but I couldn't find anything in the planning application. Not sure whether anybody else.
Sorry, Councillor Hopper, is that the one where the former Easton Lane School is? That's
Yes.
the one you're about.
Yes. Yeah. So,
Sorry, Councillor Hopper, did you want to continue to finish?
no, I didn't, and that wasn't to go at the city councillors, by the way. That was Sunderland City Council civil servants. So somebody's not listening, and I know the city councillors are, because I've been speaking to Councillor Turner, not Town Councillor Turner, City Councillor Turner, away from here. So you see my point. It's like, if they're listening and they're sending the emails, Sunderland City Council aren't doing their jobs. Gen 2 aren't doing their jobs. Lindsay's been trying to get these barriers sorted around the park, and if Gen 2 and the council are standing there going, they're like Abbott and Costello, it's you, just backwards and forwards. Idiots. So we need a bit of responsibility. Sorry.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm sorry to come back again. I've forgotten. I've had another request to look at it's a bit of an old issue, this, and I think it's been going on for quite a few years, about the number of unadopted roads we have in Hetton. I know it's been looked at before, but I've had a couple of residents stop me on my way over to the country park over at Irwin Street. I don't know if everybody's aware of Irwin Street, but there's part of the road adopted, but then you've got a long track that is behind Vardy's yard that then leads on to the country park. You can get into the country park that way. The residents keep filling in the potholes, which are huge, absolutely enormous craters. And I've seen them. They're filling them in month after month after month. They're personally filling them in because they've had so much damage done to their cars when they get onto this unadopted piece of road. The problem they've got is that the council, the refuse collecting wagons are turning, they're reversing on this, and they're throwing up all of the infill, and it's you know, again, they've got the holes because of the refuse wagons. So I wonder if there's anything at all we can do about that. If the council refuse vans are going to use that piece of road, you know, surely they've got some sort of right of redress to them. They're filling it up. The council motors are coming and spinning all this stuff out, and the residents are no further forward. They're trying to do something about it. So I don't know if there's any way we can put a little bit of pressure on for them to just lay some tarmac or do something. They've done some potholes along Irwin Street, and you know, to be quite honest, if the refuse wagons are going to use that, I think they could do something. So I don't know if the town clerk would like to take that one on in some way.
I've just messaged you, Councillor Waterson.
Oh, right. So I'll get that later, will I?
No, if you have a look at the bottom of the screen, there'll be a message there for you.
Not at the moment.
Well, it's gone to somebody.
Well, if anybody gets it, can you?
It's for you.
No, just, I mean, this is an issue that's been flagged up before, and yes, I'm certainly happy to take things forward, but I need some locations, please.
Right, I'll get back to you after the meeting, so I don't hold it up any longer. Thank you.
Elvin, did you want to come back again? Yeah. And Councillor Coulson next, after Elvin.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor. Couple of points. We come back to this age-old thing about a relationship with Sunderland City Council. If you have read the management policy minutes, you'll see that the management committee's been looking into the Hetton Town Charter, and to our great horror, we discovered that it should have been reviewed in 2013. which came as a bit of a surprise to us. So that obviously has been approved in the minutes that we're going to negotiate with Sunderland City Council the fact that we wanted updating to bring it in line with the 2011 Local Government Act. But just for the benefit of councillors and members of the public, the councillors, obviously in the past there's been a very cosy relationship between Hetton Town Council and Sunderland City Council, obviously the one big happy family for a long time. And so the articles in the charter, I draw everybody's attention to local governments, Article 3. It says it is important that the City Council and Town Council maintain close relationships and will ensure effective engagements. And it goes on, but from a council's point of view, there are things here. It says Town Council representatives will have the right to request to address the City Council or its committees on any matters of local concern. Just want to bring that point up. We need to look and see, well, okay, this is presumably never been used, because it was say because of the close relationship between the two for many decades, it wasn't necessary. But now we need to, I think, start using this clause. So it's clause 3 in the charter. I would urge fellow councillors to not only bring it up at the town council meeting, but through the clerk make arrangements to go and address the City Council or its committees, the appropriate ones, to help rectify their concerns. And the other point I wanted to make was, we all know that anything we do seems to get kicked down, the can gets kicked down the road with Sunderland City Council. We still haven't had an answer to my question about what happened to the play park at the back of where I live on Lyons Avenue. In the Section 106 agreement said it should have been built after the first 80 houses. We keep getting letters saying it's being looked into, this, that, and the other, and I don't think they've answered your last 3 letters, have the town clerk. Again, why aren't Sunderland City Council living up to the charter? The agreement is there. If we matters of mutual concern, we should treat each other with respect, cordiality, and they should assist us. And it's patently obvious they're not. So again, town clerk, could you find out what's happened to the play park? As again, I've been asking this for about 2 years now, the can has been kicked down the road. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Awesome.
Well, thank you, Madam Mayor. Just go back on Councillor Farrell's point on the drilling at Corrigan Terrace. It could be for open cast or building. Council Hopper checked it out with the management, and there's no more plans for open cast in the area up to now. But there has been other drilling surrounding East Street as well as Corrigan Terrace. So it looks like future development. And it looks like if it goes ahead, it'll double the size of East Street. So we've got to watch this one. Thank you.
What matters complete? Councillor Defty, you lit up. I don't know whether you just.
No, I'm here still.
No. Right. Okay.
Lit up.
That's fine. Can we move on now?
Yeah, item 6 here. This is an update from my good self. Obviously, I've listened to the comments raised by members during item 5, and I'm having deja vu here. Prior to the meeting, I have circulated the latest response I've had from the City Council on a variety of issues, some of which are historical and go back a little while this year. We are playing catch up with Sunderland at the moment, and the information I circulated about previous issues is the latest information I've had from the City Council. Obviously, I'll reiterate some of the points which have been raised again this evening, and hopefully for October we'll be able to get the up-to-date picture. As I say, we're playing a little bit of catch-up at the moment. On the issue more widely about feedback from the City Council, you'll see from the information that I sent out that I did highlight some of the concerns about feedback from the various departments and customer services. So we do have an undertaking from the City Council to actually have a look at that. and I'll make sure that that is followed through. In terms of other issues from me, there's just one thing to report, and it relates to our Facebook page, which has been up and running for around 6 months now. And members will recall that the Facebook page was intended to act as a vehicle for disseminating information out to the public, and certainly, in my view, fulfilling that objective. When I made a post a couple of days ago, I noticed to my surprise that some members of the public, other Facebook users, had been able to comment on the site. Now, I'm not quite sure how this has happened, because I took steps to disable any comments to avoid the town council becoming embroiled in any, far wider discussions. So the 2 comments that I saw were what I would probably regard as neighbourhood issues, but they were from some time ago, but I've only picked up upon them. And the only thing I can think of is that Facebook has changed its layout from a classic style to a more contemporary style, whether I like it or not. And of course, I just got used to using Facebook in its traditional format, and they've gone and changed it. But I do think perhaps that there's something changed the settings behind the scenes. But it was just to make members aware that if they're in dialogue with any local residents who say that they've contacted the council via Facebook, first of all, they're not supposed to be able to do it, and secondly, the couple that have, I've only just realised. So it's something I will be having a look at a little bit further to see what's happened there. It's not that I have any problems with engaging with local residents, but our Facebook page was set up specifically just to provide a vehicle for information rather than ongoing dialogue with a variety of issues, potentially many of which won't affect us anyway, which will just absorb more time. So I'll keep members posted on that, but I was alarmed to see resident comments on our Facebook page when there shouldn't have been any at all. I'll keep you up to speed on that. Chairman, Councillor Elvin wishes to speak.
Councillor Elvin, sorry.
Madam Mayor, just if I could ask the clerk to seek clarification. I know I'm not the brightest or the sharpest knife in the box, but the response I got about the parking restrictions outside Tesco's seems rather contradictory. It works for removal of the loading bay, limiting waiting bays and disabled bays are part of the current group order and is currently going through the process for completion. Then it says there is no removal of waiting restrictions as part of the order. What? Where previously it says there are. And then it goes on to say the usual excuse was delayed because of COVID-19. And then it says officers are now working with to bring the schemes to implement them shortly. Unfortunately, I cannot give an exact date, because I intend to have the work completed by the end of October, weather permitting. But it's contradictory. It says it's going through the process for completion, and then it contradicts it, but it's saying that's not part of the order. So unless I'm missing something, could I ask you for clarification on that?
I'll pick it up with something again, yeah.
If everybody looks at the response to my query, that seems to, one part contradicts the other.
If you're happy for me to do so, I can bring that on screen now.
No, it's you can if you want to, yeah. But
it's over. I'm in your hands. Do you want me to bring it on screen so I can have a look at it? Yeah, it goes. Bear with me.
The last item.
Right, there we go. Let's have a look.
Works for removal of the loading bay, limited waiting bays and disabled bays are part of the current group order and is currently going through the process of completion. Implication is that it's underway. Yeah. Then it says there is no removal of waiting restrictions as part of the order.
Yeah.
Then it says there at the beginning the waiting bays are part of the order.
Clarification required, I think, is the order of the day.
if you would.
Leave it with me.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Okay, that was my update. I say, other than issues being ongoing with the City Council and we're playing catch up, my comments on Facebook, that's it from me. Unless there's any other queries from members. Councillor Hopper.
Just want to reiterate my disappointment with Sunderland City Council as an organisation, and I would like to know, is there somewhere we can go outside of the City Council and go above them to complain about the shoddy service that we're receiving? I mean, personally, I pay £1,200 a year, there or thereabouts, council tax. We haven't got a police station. Our roads aren't fit for purpose. Sunderland City Council's jumped into bed with a private organisation calling it social housing. They're just running roughshod over, chucking houses on green space. Basically, they're doing absolutely nothing for us. Nothing. I'm not getting one penny back of my council tax, yet the demand is there every year. There must be an ombudsman out that we can go to. There must be somebody we can go to complain about that organisation over the water. Got to be.
If I can just come in on that one, the Ombudsman does have jurisdiction over principal authorities, but not town and parish councils. But the Ombudsman would only get involved if all formal complaints channels with the principal authority had been exhausted. I mean, you raise a number of fairly wide points there about council tax. I mean, my report was limited to some neighbourhood issues and the feedback we had, and also the ongoing dialogue and mechanics, if you like, of how we actually engage with Sunderland. I think that's got some way to run yet. And on that particular point, I think it would be premature to try and escalate that to the Ombudsman. I've certainly spoken to a couple of officers at Sunderland, and they seem as keen as I am to try and understand why there's some disparity in the level of responses we get back from various departments. So it's got a little way to run, and I think I'd like to just conclude that dialogue to see how we can streamline those reporting arrangements.
Sorry, Town Clerk, are we going to put a time frame on that then? Are we going to say a month, 2 months, 3 months? Because from where I'm sitting, we are going to have one or more fatalities either through antisocial behaviour, drugs, motorbikes, speeding cars, potholes on roads. Just yeah, I mean, the list is pretty endless. We can keep on going, and the shouting doesn't do it. The writing the letters doesn't do it. The requests to city councils gets little bits and pieces done. And I'm not even blaming the city councils here, because I don't think they've got any power. I don't. Councillor Turner, she might wish to agree with me here. She sends emails, and I send her emails asking for updates, and she has to send another email as a city councillor to get an update back. And to me, there is no efficiency, there's no strategy in place. And all the time, our community and our neighbourhoods are going down, down, down. We'll get to a point where they will not be able to recover from it. Thank you.
Just to come back very briefly on that, if I may, I'm certainly happy to explore escalation routes that may or may not be available. I'll come back to you, Councillor Hopper.
Okay.
Thank you.
Apart from collecting council tax, does Sunderland Council think the boundary finishes at Stonygate rather than Ratengate?
I'm afraid the geographical nuance is lost on me, but I think I know where you're coming from. Again, I think that's probably part of a wider discussion which needs to take place with the City Council, with specifics highlighted. Yeah. Everybody's gone silent.
I don't know what he said. I couldn't hear.
You know, as if I may, I know I've been talking a lot tonight, but just very briefly, we are also residents. We're not just town councillors or city councillors. We are residents. And I'm extremely unhappy with the motorbikes, with the traffic, everything I've mentioned. And I echo loads of people. And when I say loads, I don't mean 2 or 3. I mean everybody I speak to. They're all, you know, everybody's upset about it, and everybody's complaining. And every month, we raise the same issues. As you said, Town Clerk, déjà vu. And we're not getting anything back, but please, you continue to write your letters and try and open up the correspondence channels and see what can happen. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, can we move on?
Sorry, Chairman, Councillor Alvin wishes to speak again.
Sorry, say that again.
Unmute again,
Yeah,
Mike.
okay, thank you. On local issues, might I propose that we invite the Secretary of State for Local Government, who I believe is the MP down in Hartlepool or Stockton or somewhere.
Chairman, can I stop you there? He's resigned.
Has he?
He's resigned last week.
Well, they'll replace him with somebody, but anyway.
Yes, yeah. He has been replaced, but I don't think he's local.
All right. Oh, well, the point is, you know, he wrote to us and said that, you know, explaining, I brought up before about, you know, when all these monies were given to Sunderland City Council, they should divest some of them to Hetton Town Council. It was, you know, all part of the local government plan. You know, and of course it never happened. And it would be interesting to get a local government minister. It would have been easier, obviously, it was local. But I've seen a reason why it's Zoom anyway, so it doesn't really have to be local. It can be anywhere in the country. That he comes and explains what the relationship should be between a town council, a parish council, and the local authority. I mean, it's pretty obvious to me what it should be. It's laid down in the town charter, but it's not implemented. But could I propose that we ask the current minister to participate, give us a little short talk on you know, the ideal working relationship between two such bodies, the town council and its superior body. Could I propose that? Is that in order, Madam Mayor? Yes,
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Good.
Thank you.
So do you want to come in?
Sorry, just on that proposal, can we just have an indication of the level of support for that?
Yes, I agree. Councillor Deputy.
Right, Councillor Coulson.
Yes.
Yeah.
Councillor Pearson.
Yes.
Councillor Hopper. Rome, yeah. Councillor Waterston. Yeah. Councillor Farrow.
I think it's unlikely to bear any fruit. I think we can find out what the relationship should be, and we can in other ways. So I'm not particularly supportive of the proposition.
We've been down that road quite a few times and nothing's happened locally. It has to go above Sunderland City Council's head.
Yeah, agreed.
Sorry, just can I go around all members because there's a difference in opinion there. I've obviously had feedback from Councillor Elvin, Farrow, Waterston, Rome, Hopper, Pearson, Coulson. Councillor Willis, supportive. Councillor Turner.
No, I just want to state that every time I've contacted our offices at Sunderland, I always get a response within a few days. So I don't see why this is actually necessary.
Okay, so is that a vote against? Councillor Dodds?
No, I think we're going down the wrong avenue here. I think we need to build relationships with Sunderland, and calling them, to quote councillors, what was it? There's not a brain cell between them and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said, and I stand by it.
Isn't really
well, it's maybe because they're all Labour and they just don't want to talk to anybody but Labour. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know.
Officers are non-political.
I have sent you
I beg your pardon?
asking you to go back to Sunderland Council, Councillor Turner.
Point of order,
No, I haven't
please,
heard anything.
Madam Mayor.
Yes, have your point of order.
Madam Mayor, could I say, if according to the standing orders, if you make a point of order, you must quote which order you think has been contravened. So could you classify which point of order has been contravened, which order has been contravened in the standing orders, please?
It's
No.
disrespect.
Disrespect? How is it disrespect, being honest? Are we all now in safe spaces? What's wrong?
Sorry, can we just move on? I don't agree.
Councillor Heron? I think we've lost Councillor Heron temporarily. Councillors Liversidge? So I'm not getting anything there either.
Aye. There's a shock.
Sorry, I mean, from the responses I've had there, that proposal from Councillor Elvin is carried. Can I just try Councillor Heron again?
Councillor Turner.
Councillor. Oh, sorry, I'm not getting anything from Councillor Heron or the Liversidges. I know Councillor Turner wishes to speak again.
I just want to state that as elected members on the council, we represent everyone, all residents, regardless of their political persuasions.
Councillor Pearson, Councillor Elvin's wishing to speak again.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I've got you now, Councillor Heron.
Thank you. Hetton Town Council is an autonomous body, the same as Sunderland City Council. We have our own demarcations. And the principle of the Town Council has always been to go in and negotiate with the City Council. Where we can, we would assist the City Council in coming to the Town Council objectives. But they're continually putting conflict in the way of negotiations isn't going to solve any of the problems. And I'm against what's being proposed tonight. Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, just trying to deliver messages again. Any feedback? Sorry, I think we've lost them. On the feedback that I've had there, that motion is carried.
Madam Mayor, could I ask that the clerk records the voting on that motion?
Can't hear what you're saying. I can't hear what you're saying.
Madam Mayor, can you hear me? Madam Mayor?
Kat, you're on mute. Madam Mayor, you're on mute.
Yes, I can hear you, Councillor Delvin.
What I said was, could you ask the clerk to record the voting on that particular proposal?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Chairman, can I just clarify? Is that a named vote or just a number of votes?
A name vote, please. Those for, those against.
Is that in order?
Yep.
Yep.
We need to take a vote on that as well.
No, Madam Mayor, in the standing orders, any councillor can request that after a proposal and after a vote has been taken, that the councillors who voted for it or against it can be asked to be identified.
Yeah, that's fine, thanks. Okay, I think that concludes item 6. Chair, if I move on to item 7, this was expected to be a report on CCTV in Hetton District, and I included this on the agenda when I compiled it last week. Unfortunately, due to time constraints, I haven't been able to move that forward, and I suggest that this is further deferred. I do apologise for that.
I know I'm not allowed to speak, but I'm Dorothy Ferguson, and I was told that there would be a report back. Why is there a delay? I understand I'm not allowed to speak, but I'd like to know why.
Chairman?
Yeah, Town Clerk?
Yeah, the town clerk hasn't produced a report, I'm afraid, due to time constraints.
Oh, it's yourself. Ah, it's
Yeah.
not some outside body that is supposedly
No,
to report
no.
back.
No, it's me. I'm guilty.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Thanks. Item 8 was the financial report. I'll bring it on screen for members. There you go. There's the September financial report. Yeah, and I'm happy to answer any queries. Straightforward this month. The only change you may notice is that the website maintenance fee is now on a quarterly basis rather than annual. That's just to give us flexibility if we want to renew it or change supplier at all.
No problem.
Yeah, take that off screen.
Councillor Evans got his hand up.
Yeah, Madam Mayor, can you hear me?
Yes.
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
I'd just like to propose as the financial statement is adopted.
I'll second that.
Madam Mayor, can I just ask a question? I don't know whether she's actually answering or if it's very vague. I can barely pick her up.
Oh, sorry, yes. I'll shout.
Yeah, thank you, Cass. It's just when we agreed the town clerk's overtime, we agreed for it to be put onto the financials of the next month. And I was just wondering why the August ones is not on there. Was there no overtime in the August to be taken into account?
Chairman, Councillor Dodds, yes, I can come back. It is included. The pay for that month, sorry, the pay for September, should it be approved this evening, includes some additional hours for August and back pay in line with the National Pay Award to April. It's difficult to actually tease it out though, other than from the information which appears on my pay slip, which is for the public domain.
So that's included in that one figure?
Yes, it is. Yes,
that's
it is.
fine. Thank you.
I mean, just for Councillor Dodd's benefit and other members of the staffing committee, as previously agreed, that August timesheet will be with you very shortly.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Right, are we okay with financial report? Can I move on?
Yes.
Yep.
Item 9, member email addresses. If I just give the background to this was first flagged up probably last year, and it was raised again, I think, in June. And this is the suggestion that members be given gov.uk addresses. At the moment, members are using personal email addresses, although I have previously recommended that if they're using personal email addresses, they allocate them specifically for town council business. So this has come back to council tonight following a brief discussion in June. And I just want to remind members that we have had some difficulties. Well, I've had some difficulties with member email addresses since April, with 1 or 2 addresses in particular affecting yahoo.com addresses. And indeed, those issues have rumbled on, and we haven't been able to get a full resolution to all of them. And I've been using alternative email addresses. One member has also suggested that because of increased security concerns, particularly using remote meetings, that it might be best to move to gov.uk addresses. My view is that it's a valid suggestion, and I think it's now appropriate for council to consider that. The quotation, which I'm going to pull up on screen, is from our existing IT supplier. There is only one quotation. It's within financial regs and amounts delegated to me to recommend to you. The difficulty with gov.uk addresses is that you can't just, if you like, buy them off the shelf, unlike some of the other co.uk and .com addresses. There's a fairly complex procedure which has to go through to make sure that the organisation is eligible. It would be expedient, if nothing else, to go with the quotation we've got. I'm confident it's competitive, but to go and try and seek another supplier will require another domain host and all the complexities that brings with it as well. I'm just going to pull that quote up on screen so you can have a look at it. Find it. Yeah, it's not an invoice, it's a quotation, £302.40 for 21 email accounts, soon we're up to speed at £12 per year. Don't ask me what the logistics are of actually implementing it. I'll have to speak to the IT supplier independently on that, but that's the cost proposal you have in front of you this evening. Any views, please?
Town Clerk?
Yeah.
I would be against that. I'd be against it because it's so simple to set up an email address, and there's always help at hand for the members, but I think it's just a waste of money. I'd like to see the £302 go to, say, for example, Springboard or whatever, some organisation, rather than wasted on email addresses.
Councillor Farrell?
Can you hear me, Madam Mayor?
Yes.
Well, I would agree with Councillor Hopper. It's not beyond the wit of anybody to set up a separate Gmail or Hotmail account for your council business if you wish to do so. So I personally, if the motion is passed, I personally won't be putting the members of the public here in Hetton to £12.50 or whatever it is, £12 a year costing. But I do appreciate the views of other people. If other people, so wish it, then that's fair enough. But let's hope it's just not an ego trip for some people. It's like an with a .gov.uk email address. It's, as I agree with Councillor Hopper, it's at a town parish level. I don't think it's necessary.
Farrell, then Councillor Heron.
I would be in favour of this.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, Councillor Farrell first, and then yourself, Councillor Heron.
I would be in favour of this. As the town clerk has said, there's been problems with email addresses. Certainly that's included my email address. I've had to use 2 different ones because the town clerk couldn't reach me for some inexplicable reason on the address which is on the Hetton Town Council website, though other people could use it. I think this would be a good use of our money. We can certainly afford it when you look at the financial statement, and I would be in favour of doing this. Councillor Hopper has said that the money could be sent to Springboard. Well, we had the opportunity not long ago to send money to Springboard, and the councillors voted that down.
No, we didn't vote it down.
No, it wasn't voted down. It wasn't voted down.
Suspended.
Voted for more information. Turned down.
I'm sorry, but
Farrell, sorry.
It was. I don't want to get into that. That's not what we're talking about at the moment. But I will very.
You brought it up.
Hang on, one councillor at a time, please.
Madam Mayor, can you please keep the meeting to order?
I'm just saying one councillor at a time.
I'll just briefly say that the voting on the Springboard issue was 7-4, 7 against, and the casting vote went against. So the money was not.
Madam Mayor, that is not true. That is not the way it was.
Okay. Can we go back to talking actually about the email address?
I'm speaking at the moment. I'd like it if I could not be interrupted till I finish, please.
Don't speak untruths then.
I'm not speaking any untruths. You can look at it.
I've just read the minutes of that meeting. I'm sorry, you're wrong.
Councillor Farrell, can we just keep to one person at a time, please?
To the matter in question, I would be in favour of using this money in this way. if you want to reduce the costs, the one way we could do it, which was something I've been asking for ever since I became a councillor and was informed at a training session that the council has too many councillors for the size of the area it covers, is to look at the constitution of the council. And that would reduce the cost, it would reduce other costs as well. So I am in favour of going ahead with this quotation that the town clerk has got for us. Thank you.
Councillor Herron.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I totally agree with everything that Councillor Farrow said. The important thing is the security of our personal data and our personal accounts. Now, the other side of the situation is, I'm not interested in a gov.dot for ego reasons, because I want that solely and utterly shortly just for council people to contact me on a safe and secure website. My personal one has been hacked before, and it took us quite a long time to get rid of that. And I do not want that to happen again. I would much rather that we get this sorted out and the gov.dot comes in. And that's the recommendation of the clerk, and it's the support of our members. And Councillor Farrow was quite right. You voted that issue down twice, not once in a meeting, twice.
Right, can we go back to the thing?
Point of order, that's a lie.
Come on, point of order.
Minutes are there. The minutes
I don't
are
tell any
there.
lies, Councillor, unlike yourself.
I'm sorry.
Councillor Elvin.
In the minutes that we just approved.
Councillor Rome, yeah, let's Councillor Elvin speak.
Whoops, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Two things. I'm just curious as to how much each of us cost the ratepayer of Hetton. Councillor Farrow says we can reduce the costs to the of our overheads by cutting the number of councillors. I haven't claimed a single penny as a councillor for the 20 years I've been a councillor. Maybe Councillor Farrow claims money that I don't know about. How on earth can we, by cutting the size of this council, save money? I think she may be getting confused, if she forgive me, when we talk about Sunderland City Council, who do cost us the ratepayers' money, and there are recommendations they be cut from 3 to 2. But I do fail to see how me as an individual, costs the council money, and by getting rid of me, Councillor Farrow, you will save the council money.
Exactly.
Can you explain how getting rid of me or any of these councillors will save the council money?
Well, I've already shown one example of where that would happen if we had fewer email addresses, but just general contacting councillors by the town clerk, the work that's done, the length of these meetings, all these things could happen more efficiently if we looked at the constitution of the council and found ways of making councillors' areas that they serve much more equitable and more efficient. And I think that we should return to the matter in hand at the moment. That is not what we're discussing. And I'd like the chair to...
That's twice you brought things up.
Can we have
Madam
one
Mayor,
at a time, please? Yeah.
Madam Mayor, if a councillor brings in a red herring like Councillor Farrow does, there's only fair that somebody should have the right of reply. If she'd not brought it up in the first place, then we would not be talking about it. But shall we, please move on then.
Please. Yeah. Okay, we'll go back to the town clerk. Members' email addresses. Have you got a?
Councillor Rowan wants to speak.
Oh, right. Sorry, Councillor Rowan.
Yes, regarding another email address, that would be very impracticable for me. I'm a very busy person. I've just about got time to tend to one email address, never mind 2.
I think we need a proposal either in favour of going down gov.uk addresses or not.
Sorry, Madam Mayor, can I ask a question?
Yeah, Councillor Dodds.
Can I just ask, is the gov.uk, does that go through a security server before it comes to us? Is it more secure by having a gov.uk than it is by having a Gmail?
I'm not technically qualified to give you that answer. I simply don't know.
Could we have an answer? Before we move on, could we answer that question? Because the reason I keep bringing it up is because last month I had my email hacked and it took me 3 weeks to get it sorted out. And I've only recently been able to use it again. And there is no further security layer in the Gmail system. However, I am aware for Sunderland City Council, they have an extra security layer because they've got their council email addresses. Now, if this warrants having an extra security layer and protecting my personal equipment, which I was without for 2 weeks while it all got sorted out and debugged, then I would be happy to go ahead with this. But I wouldn't necessarily want to go ahead with it if there's not an additional security layer.
I believe, and then Councillor Geddes.
I seem to recall 4 or 5 years ago, Sunderland City Council providing .gov.uk email addresses for some of the Hetton Town Council councillors. Yes, they did. I tell you, because Marie was one of them. It came out on a circular for you guys. There was several Hetton Town councillors had .gov.uk addresses, email addresses for Sunderland Council.
Never.
Councillor Geddes,
Mark,
and then
David.
Councillor Geddes first, and then Councillor Turner, then Councillor Hearn.
Can I just say that that was very true. We were all asked if we wanted to have Sunderland.gov. And personally, I mean, I chose to keep Yahoo, but I've had issues with mine. So for me, if I think what Councillor Dodd said is correct, if there is an extra security layer, then I would certainly be in favour of it. I've been hacked and it's a pain.
Madam Mayor.
Councillor Turner first. Councillor Turner first, Councillor Hearn, and then yourself.
It's just I'm confused. I mean, we've got the Sunderland ones being city councillors, but what happens if we did get hettoncouncil.gov.uk? What about the equipment? Would it still go on the same equipment that we've got?
Of course.
Would it go to my ordinary laptop just the same? Because I don't understand. I mean, the Sunderland.gov goes to their equipment, but I don't know what happens with
Sorry, Mr. Clark, I thought that's what we were talking about, the Sunderland.gov one.
Yeah, the city councils, we've got a Sunderland.gov.
Yeah, but is that what we're talking about for Hetton Council?
No, I don't know. I thought you would mean a separate one for Hetton Town Council.
There's no way you're going to get a Sunderland City Council address.
That's right, Mr.
The gov.uk email address and domain is used for central government and some aspects of local government.
Well, I'm sorry,
councils use it, others don't.
I'm sorry, but we were asked if we wanted one when we started.
Yes, I was, Councillor Geddes.
Yeah.
Well, I've been on for years. I've never been asked.
No, we
The
were.
previous town clerk asked me, and I remember that quite clearly.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, well, I've never been asked.
This is not an arrangement being made with Sunderland City Council.
No.
Right.
Okay, Councillor Hearn, did you want to speak?
Never ever been asked for one for the Hetton Town Council. The only time I've had a gov.one was when I was a city council representative. And just for the information, I was taken off that account at 6 o'clock on the night of the count. 6 p.m. I was taken off that account. Thank you.
Why?
Elvin?
I think maybe need a little bit of extra clarification. My understanding would be that it would probably go through the existing IT supplier's server, and whether he would then have any extra layers of security or not, I don't know. But if we're concerned about security, I think it would probably be a good idea to clarify with the IT supplier. if it does actually give us any extra security. I personally don't believe it does. It just goes through their system. I think and of course Sunderland City Council has one of the most sophisticated computer systems in the whole country. Costs an absolute fortune. So they
in the whole world.
if not in the whole world, yes, it's very infamous, their computer system. So they have incredible layers of safeguards. So might I
Better than the
suggest
CIA,
that
apparently.
might I suggest that we consider finding out about this issue? Because I say personally, I'm if certain people really feel they want it, then they should have it. I mean, as I said, I'm not going to stop them from having it, but I certainly won't. I won't add to the cost of the council's budget by taking the offer up myself.
Councillor Hopper, did you want to speak?
Just on the security issue, do we really think that our local IT company is as secure as Gmail? A worldwide international company. Really, come on. I mean, this guy's server probably cost, what, £1,000, £2,000? There's no way that would be secure. I've dealt with these companies before when I've had websites, and they do get hacked, and the .gov has been hacked several times. So even that's not secure. So no, I certainly from a security aspect, I certainly wouldn't be voting in favour of this. The .gov aspect, I'm not really bothered about that, and from a costing, I would definitely refuse it. Thank you.
Yes, 10 o'clock.
Chairman, just listening to the comments tonight, I'm getting the strong sense this is a case of further investigations required around security and bring back the council next month.
Fine. Yes.
Second
That's
that.
fine.
Yeah, fine.
Is that, yeah?
Yeah.
Yes, fine.
Yeah, agreed.
Councillor Dodds?
Agree.
Yep, agreed. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Right.
Agree.
I'm just gonna make a note. Right, thank you for that. Where are we? Item 10. This is just to bring council up to date with some changes to committee membership. Members will recall earlier this year we sadly lost Councillor Sheila Quigley, and I've now had names provided to replace her position on some of the committees. Just to make you aware, it's Councillor Hopper for planning, Councillor Elvin for events and special activities, and Councillor Elvin for staffing, employment and training. It's okay.
Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah. So, Councillor Dodge, your hands up again.
No, I've just forgot to take it off.
Right, okay. Okay. Am I all right to move on?
Yes.
Item 11, website accessibility guidelines. This topic was discussed at the Management and Policy Committee on the 14th, and I did undertake to bring a further update to the meeting tonight. Once again, I'm afraid the Town Clerk has had insufficient time to do that. My suggestion to Management and Policy Committee was that I produce a position statement, and that's what I had aspirations to present to Council tonight. To say I haven't been able to get to that stage, I'm afraid. What I would like to ask Council to do is simply leave that one with me, and when it's developed, which will have to be very quickly, I'll share it with members. I don't anticipate it will be a contentious or controversial document, because our website's awful and we don't comply. But we do need to be quite clear on how we regard the website and develop an action plan. And with Council's permission, that's the approach I would wish to take. Stunned you all into silence.
Yes, I propose that we go along with the Town Clerk's suggestion.
Yeah, second that.
Is there any dissent? That's probably the easiest way to ask. No, jolly good. Thank you very much for that. Item 12 is the National Pay Award 2021. I've already notified members of this. We discussed it and the aspiration of the trade unions back in January this year. And I did provide an update on negotiations back in May. And on the 3rd of September, I did email all members with details of the pay award for 2021 and the implications it would have for Hetton Town Council. I just need to refer it to your attention this evening so that you can formally note it. All right.
Okay.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Excuse me, I think I'm getting a hint of man flu. Just a second.
As long as it's not COVID-19, you're all right. I've lost you.
Lost him. Oh, he's gone. He's back.
We lost you, Graham.
It's a little bit of a coughing fit. I'm sure I'll rally. So the next item was item 13. This is the County Durham Association of Local Councils larger Councils Forum meeting, which is on 30th of July. Councillors Geddes and Waterson attended that. It's just the opportunity for either of them to provide a brief verbal feedback.
What happened?
Alec.
Susan, do you want to start?
No, I was just going to say I'll let you crack on with that.
A good turnout again for that particular meeting. I think from our point of view, we wanted to get some clarification on the topic, which has obviously come out tonight again about the role of the city councillors. And as I explained, I think we spent about 3/4 of an hour on it, and to my amazement, they were aghast, all of them, including the Labour ones. So, have you got the minutes of that, Mr. Town Clerk?
No, not.
No, well,
I can't recall seeing them. It may be that they're not produced until the next one.
Well, you may well be right, but I did say to Audrey and to Steve, who were both in attendance, that can you put it in as much detail as you can. But at the end of the day, as I said to Councillor Waterson, I was pleasantly surprised at the response, which was very positive, and such things like duty of care and responsibility were mentioned. So again, it'll be in the report from Steve and Audrey. So I think that was, from our point of view, that was the main thing. Okay.
Okay, that's fine.
Excuse me, item 14, there are 2 planning applications for council to consider. These hadn't come in at the time of the Planning and Development Committee, they're relatively new ones. So I'll just bring these on screen now. So your first one there refers to the previous Barclays premises on Front Street, Hetton.
No objection.
No objection.
Being done.
Yeah, I think.
Must be retrospective.
No.
We okay with that one?
Okay.
Yeah.
And the next one was 22 Rydal Avenue, Easington Lane.
No
objections.
No objection.
No.
Yep, thanks for that. Sorry, shouldn't have done that. Yeah. Penultimate item this evening is general correspondence. I'll just take you through the list. Members have seen most of these pieces of correspondence. The first one from a member of the public is about some nuisance at Elmore Golf Course. I have had ongoing correspondence with this resident for a little while, and it's about nuisance caused by quad bikes and motorcyclists at the closed golf course. And they're asking the town council to take action. Now, this isn't our land, and the council has no powers to take action. The specific request is for the town council to put some signage up, which if council wants to, we could spend some money on doing that, but we have no powers to actually enforce it, monitor it, or anything else. I don't know if any member has any particular views on how we might want to tackle that. Just for background information, the Northumbria PCSO, Louise, has been involved with this, and she is in dialogue with city council officers. And I think at the core of this is a problem that there is a right of way goes over the golf course, so we can't prevent access. That's my understanding.
Right.
My only view on this issue is that I understand that the golf course is now closed. Somebody will have a responsibility for the site, whether or not it's the estate agent who is marketing it, or perhaps the administrators of the golf club. I don't know whether there's any merit in my suggesting that there's an approach made to one of those two bodies to see what their angle is on it. I'm open to suggestions on it.
As far as I'm aware, it's still council property.
I thought it was a municipal golf
No,
course.
it is. It's Sunderland Council property.
Yeah.
I thought it was quite an interesting point about the signs. And once the signs go up, you can actually take the motorbikes away from people. So, because they have been warned about anybody using a motorcycle in that area, could have it taken away from them. So, if that is actually the law, then I have no reservations about approaching Sunderland City Council about getting signs put up. Or if did you say, Town Clerk, did you say the police are already negotiating with the City Council?
They're in dialogue, and one of the suggestions that came back from the police was that some of these motorcyclists and quad bike users are coming from County Durham. Now, apparently Northumbria Police has a policy of no pursuit, but Durham Constabulary have a different approach, and the PCSO was trying to establish if there was any way of identifying where these culprits were coming from, and for the joint working between the two forces.
They're coming from Horden, Mr. Town Clerk.
Right.
Some of them.
So the point remains that what we were talking about earlier about there's a lot of people on those bikes and motorbike, and I'll go on record as saying I actually hate them. I've only ever been on 3 bikes and I've been off all 3 of them. I would never get on a 4th. So to me, they're a death trap, they're dangerous. However, people do get enjoyment, and no matter what we seem to do, no matter how much we shout, they seem to still go out and they annoy people. Can we not find a place? Can we not approach the City Council? You know, it really sticks in my throat, this issue.
Councillor Hopper.
Sorry?
Councillor Hopper, the guys on a motorbike won't go to one particular place. They're like just moseying around. And
no, I know what you mean, but see, all these problems that we're discussing, like the Town Clerk said, deja vu. Where's the resolve? Where's the result? And surely the City Council, Northumbria Police, they don't chase them. They don't go in pursuit. They're doing whatever, and they are getting faster and faster. If anybody's stuck on a Sunday afternoon, go down to Cragdale Gardens and just have it, like sort of on that bit of land that they propose to build on. It's very.
Can I just come back on that, Councillor Hopper, Madam Mayor? I know that some of them are from Horden because I followed them to Horden, and I've said this to Inspector Nick Jorgan. There was a Durham cop on an off-roader, grabbed one of them. Now, there's a little bit of a conflict there because Nick Jorgan had said to me and Councillor Watson when we went down to see about this, they have a no apprehension policy, you know, so that they don't hurt them. But then in the second breath, at a later date, he said they do work with Durham and share that responsibility. So I don't know which one it is. But Durham certainly nabbed them. And to answer another question, if the police actually nab them, they can crush the bikes, and that'll stop it. None of them's road tax, none of them's legal.
We'll have to involve the police again.
Councillor Elvin?
Madam Mayor, can you hear me?
Yes.
Jolly good. Well, I think it's incumbent on the for us to liaise with the City Council, especially if what I hear is correct, that actually the land is still owned by the City Council. Then the person whose prime responsibility will be them. So surely through the City Councillors or through the Town Clerk, the suggestions that were made in that very good letter about ways of preventing it, should be submitted to Sunderland City Council and to ask them to implement the signage. I mean, even if we wanted to implement the signage, we would have to get permission to erect them anyway, which again would have to come through Sunderland City Council. So by asking us to do it is really a bit of cart before the horse. I think we should be pressing Sunderland City Council to assist us.
I second that.
I totally agree with that. Can I just raise a second point? Somebody's going to have to do something, otherwise it'll end up like down Hetton Park with that building being set on fire and demolished. That's exactly what will happen. It'll turn into an eyesore.
Yeah, we need them barriers fixing as well around the park. That'll stop a lot of the bikes getting up.
It all goes back to Sunderland City Council, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So Madam Mayor, with your permission, may I propose that we write to the council in A, clarifying that they do own it, and B, forwarding the suggestions made by our local residents on ways that might mitigate the problem.
Second that, yeah.
Good.
Yep.
Can I just come in there, Madam Mayor, as well?
Yes.
I think we're missing a point as well. It's noise nuisance, and we should be speaking to the environment section of Sunderland Council with regards to the noise nuisance, because if it's continually happening, I can understand why these residents are complaining, and I think the noise impact needs to be taken into account as well.
Excellent point.
Excellent. That's a good point.
Write to Sunderland City Council with resident suggestions and suggesting it's referred to the environment team as well with the noise nuisance element.
Yeah, Madam Mayor, and also if you're going to seek clarification as to who actually owns
and
the
ownership,
land.
yeah, it's fine, thank you.
Off the record, there is a bidding for the land. It's a nursery. It's a local nursery company. As in gardening nursery.
Councillor Turner, sorry. Yeah.
It's actually owned by Sunderland City Council, and there'll be a feasibility study going out asking residents what type of things they would like to have where the golf course is.
Thank you, Councillor Turner.
Thank you, Councillor Turner.
Thank you. Nice little bit of information.
Yeah, I'm just going to go back to that screen again. The next two items about covenants. This is an interesting one. In my relatively short time at Hetton Town Council, I haven't before had a query about land ownership. And to the best of my knowledge, we still don't own any land. These two separate queries from two different individuals about different sites came in within the space of a week. And it turns out this refers to title which belonged to the former Hetton Urban District Council. One relates to an area in the vicinity of Cragdale Gardens, and the other one relates to Hetton Lines Industrial Estate. And I just wanted to flag this up with members because, as I say, in my 2 years here, I haven't previously had any queries of this nature at all. I've had a discussion with a senior officer in legal at Sunderland City Council, And although nobody has a definitive answer because of the time which has elapsed since the abolition of the urban district in 1974, the view is that any assets, land or property owned by the urban district transferred to the city council when it was formed in 1974. So I'm just flagging this up. It's another example of something which has come out of the blue and which has taken up some of my time to try and get to the bottom of. If anyone has any different perspective on this, I'm happy to hear it. But it's duly just for information. Okay.
Yeah.
Albert, did you want to speak?
Just very quickly. So the covenants were made, and generally, I think the term in law is in the spirit, in the nature, what was in the head of the people laying down the covenant at the time. And I believe the spirit, especially down the Cragdale Gardens, was where it actually says in the covenant, no building on this land. I think in the spirit, they're meant to have it as an amenity without any buildings on there. And that's the spirit in which the covenant was made. Sunderland City Council, as we speak, are trying to lift that covenant. So, and I do believe that although they may not be breaking the law, they're breaking the spirit of the covenant in which the land was gifted to them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Just on a final point for me, the two enquirers, I have signposted them to a named officer at Sunderland City Council. And hopefully that officer will be able to help with their enquiries. Excuse me. Okay, if I can move on to the next item.
Yes.
Item MOP4, this is a letter received from a member of the public relating to some historic aspects of the Town Council's operations, which all members have had sight of. Any views?
Just propose that it gets noted, and it's for a member of the public.
Wishes to speak on it, Councillor Orme.
Yeah, it's for a member of the public regarding something he's seen on social media, and I would just suggest if he's got anything that's been said wrong, he should seek legal advice. But otherwise, I think we should just note the contents and move on. I'd like to propose we just note it and get on to the next item.
Madam Mayor, I second that proposal.
Okay. Are we okay with that?
Yep.
Yep.
Any dissent at all? Okay. Just from my perspective, I would propose to just contact a member of the public and advise them of the council's decision this evening, and also to refer them to Sunderland City Council with the aspect of comments about an unidentified member. Okay.
Okay.
Right, I'll just pull that report back on screen again. Thank you for that. The next item was an email which came in from what's called the Rural Services Network. And it's a fairly hefty document, which I have had a look at. And basically what they're asking us to do is join this group. Now, throughout it's referring to Rural Services Network, but there are also references to market towns and small towns. And the bottom line of this is that they want to know if the town council will subscribe at £150 a year. Now, the offer from this organisation is that we are very happy for Hetton to come into the Rural Market Towns Group from now until the 1st of April 2021 without charge, and then consider whether it wishes to renew a membership subscription. Any views at all?
After reading
sorry.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yes, I read the document with interest, and yeah, I noticed the title of it, which initially thought it wasn't for us, but when reading through it, it appears that it may well be of interest to the council, especially if we could have a dip a toe in the water and see what it's all about for a few months without any charge. And I did notice that there are other industrial towns, what you might call towns with industrial heritage, who are current members. I mean, Shildon, for instance, is a member, and there are similar sort of mining communities in Nottinghamshire, I noticed the members. So if it's not going to cost anything, I think it might be an idea that we join just temporarily, see if there's anything to be gained from it, and then if there is, then we can decide whether we want to pay the £150 or we can just let it go.
I second that.
Yeah, Councillor Geddes?
Yeah, the question for Town Clerk, has this body got any legal or monitoring officer background to it? Sometimes it's difficult to get anything concrete from our primary legal people at Sunderland, and it would be nice to have a balanced view from someone else. So I agree with what Councillor Elvin and Councillor Rowan said, and it would be nice if they had some other backup. That would be even better, I think.
I mean, if I just come back on that, the opening paragraph, excuse me, is that the organisation has for 20 years been a special interest group of the Local Government Association. Now, the Local Government Association is the employer's body for local government. In this particular case of the Market Towns Group, my reading and interpretation of the pitch to us is very much a lobbying group. So I don't know that it has any strong legal backing. It's a legitimate organisation and group, but its role is more of that to garner the views of those councils, towns, villages in its membership core for lobbying purposes.
Well, I think a little bit of lobbying doesn't go amiss where we are seated, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
We're all in favour of it.
I mean, the other thing
Suck it and see.
sorry, the other thing that's interesting is that when I first saw it, I just thought it was a round robin, which I think it probably is to a degree, but it has been targeted at Hetton specifically because it has been bespoke for our attention, not least of all addressed to me personally, and it's acknowledging that Hetton, is in the wider Sunderland area. So I think there's probably been a little bit more care taken with this than some of the stuff we get from potential suppliers just really chucking things out there and seeing who will bite, so.
Well, I mean, Shildon, if we get another NALC meeting, they attend that meeting anyway, so they will be able to give us first-hand information, I would expect.
Okay. So again, the view I'm picking up is go for it while it's free, and then have a think about it next year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks for that.
Agreed. Yeah.
Just a final couple of items on the correspondence. Post office shop. I introduced back in March with great glee that I'd opened an account with Post Office Shop, which would enable the council to buy stamps and other stationery items without me having to put my hand in my pocket because it would be invoiced. And the email that came in from Post Office Shop was that they were closing the operations at the end of August, which I was very disappointed with. But what's interesting here is that only yesterday there's been another email sent out, and it's not the facility that's closing, it's their website that's closing, and they're introducing another one. So really I put this on to say that a facility that had been withdrawn, but it transpires that it's not. So you're up to date, you don't need to do anything other than note this one. The next item from the County Association, and there's a list of autumn training courses. They're aimed primarily at the town clerk, not just me, but town and parish clerks throughout the Durham area. But there are some other bits and bobs on there which may or may not be of interest. Really up to council to determine what it wishes to do. I'll certainly have a look from my perspective to see if there's anything which is going to be especially beneficial. Any other views on it? No.
I wouldn't presume to say you need any training, Mr. Town Clerk.
Right, you're very kind. You're very kind. I'm always willing to learn, open to learning. Right.
Yes, Councillor Rome?
Just one question. I don't know if I'm allowed to ask it at this point. While we're talking about post offices, have we got any update on Hetton
No.
Post Office, Town Clerk?
No, my inquiries drew a blank on that one, I'm afraid. Again, I'll be vigilant in case any funding streams come to my attention which may be appropriate, but they were exhausted. Okay. The next one from the County Association is the Armed Forces Covenant, which hopefully members will have had the opportunity to have a look at. And I think there's a... Yes, it's whether or not members have any views on that. Lost my piece of paper.
Mayor?
Anything on the covenant?
Just if I may, I just think it's an excellent, presentation, and I wholeheartedly agree with the whole of its contents, and obviously it's up to each individual to act upon it as they see fit.
Any views on the way forward? I see that there's a reference to a potential speaker coming to a future meeting of the larger and smaller councils forums late in November. So there may be some more information comes out at that stage. Do we want to sit tight and see what feedback we get from that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine, thank you. The last two items refer to an update from the National Association about coronavirus. And again, this is really just for information, but you'll see that they are reiterating their advice that town and parish councils should continue to meet remotely.
Yep.
And the final one, this document from the National Association of Civic Officers came in the day after we had our events committee meeting when we spoke about potential restrictions on Remembrance Day. Again, I think this is just one to keep an eye on. I've circulated to all members really for information. But the document does suggest some ways forward, which I'll bring back to the next events committee, which I think is the 12th of October, we agreed.
Yeah.
Okay. That concludes the list of correspondence.
Can I say something before we finish, please? I presume the mayor's chain is insured?
Yes.
Because it's actually it's snapped off.
Oh dear me.
So I'm not willing to pay for it myself. So
what are you doing with it?
And it'll not go with a bit of sellotape either. So I think it's natural wear and tear because you've got to take it off to fit it in the case.
No, we cannot have that. The mayor has got to pay.
All right, you take Bartley card,
The
yeah.
dog's been dragging it around the house. That's what's happened here.
Okay, so if I can ask you to look into that, please, Mr. Clark.
I will certainly look into it. I don't know that the cover will include wear and tear. I'll have to have a look at the policy details. Great. Thanks for that.
Bit of extra work for you, yes.
I go off people, Never mind. Okay. The final item was the date and time of the next meeting, and in view of the update from NOC I've just reported, it's likely to be a remote meeting again, and that will be scheduled for the 19th of October. We're okay with that?
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Thank you.
That concludes business, unless there's any last minute surprises for me.
No, I'd just like to thank everyone for attending and all the members of the public that have stood with us. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. I'm stopping the recording now.
Good night.
Thank you.
All.
Good
Thank
night.
you.
Good night.